Oh, yeah. There's no question. This is the most competitive vehicle, with the exception of one other vehicle, but it's a good thing. Yeah.
Going to call the council meeting to order. We have enough here?
Just get the microphone.
The microphone is dead, so we couldn't. As you can see, we had some moving going on. That's what the police department right now, temporarily. We've broken away from anything, you know, Rob Russell and Bailey, but we have nothing in their properties anymore. So, City Hall will be moving to the old house. So, all the clerks and the accounting and all that will be in the old house across the street. And so this will just be the police department, city council, and traffic court. Stand for the pledge of flag. Pledge of allegiance. First order would be to swear in as the new council member. Repeat after me. I, Laura Bigley,
I, Laura Bigley,
do solemnly swear or affirm that I truly perform to the best of my abilities
truly to the best of my abilities
of the council member of the city of Pendergrass
for the council member of the city of Pendergrass
by adopting and enforcing
by adopting and enforcing
such measures as in my judgment shall be best calculated to promote the general welfare for the inhabitants of the city of Pendergrass and to
public money due to the state
unaccounted for
that office
according to the city charter
according to the city charter
and the laws of Georgia.
and the laws of Georgia.
Congratulations. Did everybody get a chance to review the minutes of November 24, December 24, and February 25th?
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to ask for a motion to receive for filing of these minutes. Motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Minutes are so far adopted. I have the minutes for the work session of April 8th, the work session for approval. Do I have a motion for that?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All vote?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried. Did everybody get a chance to look at the treasury report? And they're from November 24th, December 24th, February 25th, and March 2025. Did everybody get a chance to look at those?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to receive for filing on those?
Motion to receive for filing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a vote?
Aye.
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 So carried. The library report for April?
For the month of April, we've had 14 patrons and checked out 6 books.
Okay. Want to go to old business, which is the Rochester DCCM bid for changing the zoning on the 98 acres down the road here.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for another opportunity to come before you to present this plan. So you also have with me, I'm Bradley Dunkel, Rochester DCCM. Also have Ms. Laura Lewis, representing Walters Hospitality here also. This is a request to rezone 98 acres from AG, which is agricultural, to your PCD, Planned Commercial District, with construction of 2 event / wedding venues and a hotel site also. We feel this is a great opportunity for not only the city to balance some of your residential growth with some commercial type growth, but also for Walters Hospitality to really have a special piece of property that exists here within the city of Pendergrass. Just as a matter of your comprehensive plan, this is in your country living character area. And although this use is not specifically designated, we do feel that it meets and achieves several of the goals that are outlined within the comprehensive plan, including, as you can see on the plan, preserving a lot of open space, preservation of tree canopies, protection of watershed areas. This is really a low impact use for this property. I know there's been other residential developers look at this property in the past that would have much more greater impact to the area. So we appreciate your consideration. Ms. Lewis is here to answer any operational questions, and I'll be glad to answer any technical type of questions about the proposal.
Does the council have any questions at this point?
I did. During the work session, we had some concern about traffic.
Yes.
So what are you guys proposing on kind of traffic study, or y'all looked into that at all for the people who are living there in Walnut Grove or off Mark Street over there?
You want me to cover that? Yeah. What we're proposing would be a widening of Park Street from G Street to the entrance to the project. That would require, there's only a 30-foot right-of-way there now. That would require.
Hold up, you have to slow down so I can orient you.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
This is where you come in, and this is Walnut Creek, and this is how you get here. So we're proposing, now that y'all seen that, I'm gonna share this way. This is Walnut Creek, and this is how you get there. This is Walnut Creek, and this is part how you get there. That's the expansion that we're proposing while he's talking to you.
Yeah, so Park Street currently only has a 30-foot right-of-way, but it appears from Q Public and the deeds research we can find that there is additional land owned by the city between the right-of-way and where CSX property begins. So it would require dedication from the city, I guess, to the city of additional right-of-way to be able to accomplish the correct widening of that road. So
just to get it clear, it should be one entrance for people who are going home to Walnut Grove and one entrance to go to the wedding venue, or do we have two entrances, two exits?
We don't have a way to make another entrance over here, so we have to access, over here, that I'm aware of, so we have to access by car. We are willing to add a turn lane here to help manage traffic, but there's, in my opinion, it's not technically enough land. I don't know if the railroad would cost about that, but I just don't know. It's not my private side, but we're prepared to put in a turn lane so that people going into the subdivision could just continue on and the traffic going down Park could turn. And I believe the subdivision would also like to extend their exit here so they can have a second exit out.
Okay.
We're totally fine with that. But the other issues affecting the HOA, I think, have to be resolved by some other person, not us.
So the second exit coming out of Walnut Grove would be paid by you guys, or would you expect the city, or?
I think Walnut Grove is going to pay to just this little tag on. We're going to make space for them, and they're welcome to it, but they have to take down their fence and deal with that.
Okay.
And I think I don't know the mechanics of their HOA about how they have to know to do stuff like that, but I think they would have to.
You want to talk to them?
Yeah. Lori,
I was going to say, actually, Keith and I, Keith is our HOA president. We actually had a conversation today about that, to be honest. Because we've always had an issue at Walnut Grove about the second entrance. It's always been on our covenant. It's always been on our design that the artwork was supposed to do that. However, CSX said no, because they don't want too many crossovers through the railroad. Completely understandable. We do have the second entrance that was supposed to be an exit near our pool clubhouse area. However, yes, we would have to cut open that portion of the fence, and actually repave or re-smooth and whatnot. And when we were talking, we were going to ask if we could possibly maybe have some help instead of paying it all from our HOA funds. Could we have some help either from the city or the developer or whatnot to help us with opening up that, smoothing it out, paving it, so we can have a second entrance or an exit to come just into Park Street and out back our main entrance.
It's a nominal event for us. If it helps you, we don't mind adding it when we're adding our road. Our plan is to ask the city to allow us to build either a 22 or 24-foot asphalt road. We thought we would cap the existing road and then just continue on over.
And that's what we would need to do, is we would have to remove our fence, cap the entrance, because it is a step down. It is an actual walk area to where we actually have it paved and it's lifted. So we would actually have to get it leveled and paved over. And
I think you guys, I'm not familiar with Georgia law. I think you would have to make some kind of dedication of right-of-way to the city for that to happen, and we'd need a waiver of liability so we can do it, but technically, we don't care. It's,
we'll get with our property manager and actually ask with our lawyers on what we need to do to make sure, because we do have to make sure that we have the streets connected and all that other good stuff.
Wasn't that requested by the bus drivers?
It was. The school bus drivers are, it is a very difficult street to go through, and it's either, we can either have that extra entry to exit, and or possibly having the fence open every so often, just so we can get around and whatnot, because like I said, we have 6 to 8 buses that come through every morning and every afternoon.
well, and we're not operational during the times that school buses are operating, so they would really have just a dedicated road there to manage.
And that would help.
Whatever
That's
works.
great.
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes,
In regards to the firefighter that came in here and said that we can't accommodate for 3-story buildings.
Over 3 stories.
Over 3 stories. So last we spoke, I believe that we asked if we could knock it down to 2 stories instead of 3, or is that still part of the agreement, or?
I thought we agreed to go from 4 stories to 3.
Okay, that's what
To
it's
4
4 to
stories,
3.
but
Okay,
we're totally fine with a reduction
And that'll
of
be
3
phase 2
stories.
anyway.
That'll be
And that's phase
Phase
2.
2,
as long as
like
we
that.
get it
Right.
set.
The hotel.
And that's if they do that, because there was talk that they may not do the hotel, they might do the
Villa.
villa.
Yeah, right. That
Which would be better.
Yeah.
So, you said you're not gonna be operating during morning hours? During
School hours.
School hours?
Yes.
But I thought the hotel was operating all the time.
Well, that's true, but that's a 5 or 6 year down the road event that I don't
Gotcha.
really know if it's gonna happen.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
even still, we're not talking about a Hyatt Regency, right? We're talking about night
Wedding guests.
hotel rooms that are primarily used by wedding guests.
Gotcha.
So they're still not really operating they're leaving after kids go to school for the most part,
Yeah.
and arriving after they get home, I think, for the most part. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
think what
there's a
we're
lot
saying is they know
wedding
wedding
events.
events where you have a large number of vehicles coming and going nearly at the same time.
Anything else from council? I'm going to open it up to the public if you have any questions. But you have to come up to the podium, 2 minutes, give your name and the street that you live on. So if you have any questions, if you have any questions for them.
Hey, good evening. Keith Ingram, Walnut Grove, President, DHWA. Just a quick question. I heard a little bit of it. When it comes to this, I'd also heard the widening of Park Street. Sounds great, wonderful. Obviously, it sounds like they're willing to work with us on the opening there. One concern that I have is the opening off of Glen Abbey going to Park Street. Right now, there's already a decent amount of traffic there with their own neighborhood. Adding even more people and potentially public spaces, what's the plan for that? I heard a little bit of it, didn't know if there was a little bit more, and that's also more of a city question because it's getting into your streets as well. So we're just wondering what's going on there.
That road is probably going to be a problem with the CSX. So they're the ones that, Coming up with that, you're talking about going down, making the left.
No, I'm talking about the current entrance.
Right.
So we've already heard that CSX won't let us open on the other end. What I'm saying is that you have a bottleneck. You now have not only a big, giant, 350 house neighborhood, but a venue as well. And what are we going to do in terms of traffic flow for people getting out of there? Already you come at certain times of the day, and you're going to be sitting there for a little while trying to get in or out.
If there's a problem with the traffic flow, with the wedding venue going on, and anything in the neighborhood, that I would allow the police to show up and direct traffic and control that.
Okay, we'll see what we can do, because it would be nice, especially as we think about, I heard potentially turn lane. Maybe these are things that we can look into, and we'll talk some more about it. But
yeah, but I know that with the railroad crossing there, that's CSX, so we have dealing with them that even trying to make that wider. I don't know if they're going to be too, interested in moving their equipment.
Of course. Thanks, sir.
Yes. Anyone else? Okay.
Name's Terry May. I live at 140 Blackberry Lane. And my question is, I've heard a lot of talk about all these nice plans. I have not heard anyone mention any due diligence on the federal reservoir that's there, and what are the laws the federal government has concerning what's being built near it, what water can flow into that reservoir, etc. I haven't done research on it, so I don't know. I was wondering if anyone else has done research on it, because I sure would hate to have them have some beautiful plans for a nice wedding venue and have the federal government, which is even worse than CSX to work with, come up and say, you can't do that because that reservoir is revoked.
Well, I have a city planner that is going to probably be looking into that with all the codes and stuff like that. So anything, he'll probably get into that if there's any problems with the federal government dealing with that.
I just hate to see them prematurely advance plans,
Right.
And have them say negative. That was it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Go on to new business then. I have two contracts, one for a city solicitor and one for the city planner that we probably are going to approve. The solicitor is going to be paid $200 an hour to do the courts, which is what all the other local towns and so forth do. The city planner is at $125 an hour. He comes in maybe a couple hours, 2 hours a week to go over stuff. And right now he's been working with me for the past 2 weeks on this. But we will probably approve those contracts, just so you know that that's what we got planned. And we're still looking for a new lawyer for the city. Trying to get information and at least some lawyers that have returned some calls, that I've made to them. We're going to be hiring probably another clerk in the office to help with all the office duties that Renee's been, shoved upon her with everybody leaving. So with Sandy leaving and so forth. So that's about it for that. Then we also have the town square, which has been an issue for a couple of years here. I spoke to T-Don, like I said, a couple weeks ago, and they don't want to build the shops. They want to put townhouses there instead on those 4 lots that are there, and leave the 2 in the front maybe for future shops. So we're still in negotiations with that, and we're going over the agreement and seeing if they have an out on that, or if we got a good leg to stand on with that. So, I mean, I would still like to see the shops with possibly a 3-story building there with the shops on the ground floor and a two-story townhouse or apartment above it. You know, something similar what Swanee has done, you know, with theirs. You know, and if the venue comes through, we have, you know, something that at least draws people to the town, and they could, you know, partake in any of the shops and stores that possibly might come out of it, you know, because the venue would become a destination for the city, which it needs. So, but anyway, other than that, that's it. I'm going to open up now for any more public comment. Feel free on any subject. You let it fly. 2 minutes.
Hey, Diamond. I'm on Team Lincoln Council. Good to see you again. Michael, good to see you. Mayor, thank you so much. I'm obviously really in favor of this development. I helped initialize it. I hope you consider this as an option, as a benefit for the city of Pendergrass. The revenue that it'll create, the space that it'll preserve, it opens up us as a city to become more of a destination instead of just somewhere that we pass by on 129. We're no longer known as the Pendergrass Flea Market, which isn't even in our city. Have something that's more available to us as a city, and I hope you all consider this heavily for the future of the city. Thanks so much.
I think it's better than another neighborhood.
Anyone else? Okay, that's it. The meeting's adjourned then.
Yes. Very good. Thank you very much.